Well, I can't think of an incident when I met George, but the nearest incident I can give you was when he was a member of Congress. And at that time, I was working on funding, as always, and quality control for the school meals. And so in a meeting, George and I would often be in the same meetings together on the same issue, you know, and we would share pleasantries. And I think I said, what's going on in your world that would be of interest to me? Well, he said, you know, as a new member of Congress, I've been out visiting schools all over. And he said, I was in Alabama recently, just visiting the school, really, and it happened to be there at noon. And he said, I was standing near the door of the cafeteria. And I looked inside and I saw all these kids laughing and talking and eating their lunches, and it was beautiful. But then all at once I realized there was a little boy standing beside me there in the hall. And he said, I looked at him and I said, son, why aren't you in there with your friends eating? And he said, I ain't got no money. So we talked about that before. But that is what charged George McGovern, and I would say myself, but there are many others of me weren't him. When he said, I knew that moment that I had to change this system where the poor couldn't eat. So he went back to the Hill, to Washington, and he and Bob Dole started the Senate Select Committee on Nutrition and Human Needs. They started. I remember it very well. I was in China Lake, California, running the school lunch program, and I remembered, is it possible that they're going to have a program where we could feed the poor kids? I couldn't believe that, but it happened. They, through their select committee, which was nonpartisan. We wouldn't understand that today, but that select committee was nonpartisan, and together they wrote the issue papers and the legislation that provided free and reduced price meals for kids who didn't pay. So we go back to George for that.
And he was with you and part of the origins of GCNF, wasn't he? Can you tell me a little bit about
through our years of friendship as it developed, and we were not close friends. We were sort of casual close friends. We started talking about ways to carry the story forward so funding wouldn't be threatened so much. And then we had the School Nutrition Association, and I became president of that. And that gave me a stronger link to McGovern, and we became even more close friends. Not intimate friends, but just good, solid friends. And I found I could depend on him. He was truthful. He was a politician, but he was truthful. I think one of the most meaningful times was one day we just had started GCNF. Catherine Bertini was at that organizational meeting. Catherine, she and I were there. She had come in from nowhere, and I had come in from nowhere, and she said, let's form an organization. And George was there. George and Catherine, and there were others, but I don't know who they were, but I remember those two. And so we said, yeah, we'll call it the School Nutrition Association, and George, you're going to help make this thing go. Yeah, I said, I'm going to do it. See, he started the World Food Program. So he was getting that going, and we were getting it going on here. And one day in the car, and this is what you want me to tell, I think, I got a phone call, and it was George. And he said, Gene, I think we're just about ready to get this thing going now. There's interest in doing this to promote school feeding, but he said, this organization that has somebody to be its president. I said, that's probably true. Well, he said, will you do it? And I said, George, I don't know. I think I was state director in California at that time. I'm not sure. And I said, well, he said, look, we got to get an organization here, and you can't have an organization unless you have some leaders. And he said, we hope we can get this going. I said, all right, put me down. I don't have to serve forever, I'll do it. Now that was obviously 20-some years ago. But George did it.